Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Nia Howard, the Program and Engagement Leader for Be Well Initiatives, and Bailey Pyle, the Director of Be Well Initiatives. Hi, ladies.
Hello, Adonica. Thank you so much for having us here today.
We are very excited to have you here. So for people who may be listening or watching and who are not familiar, tell us what Be Well Initiatives is all about.
So what we get to do is we're a brain health and science program sponsored by Burrell Behavioral Health. So we're a part of that bigger Burrell team. And we get to take all the leading research and science on brain health and how to care for our brain and well-being and put it into tangible ways that we can practice these things in our day-to-day routine. So how do we take all of those intelligent research articles and put them into real-life practice, not just for ourselves, but our communities and our workplaces and all the spaces we exist.
Very important work, ladies. Very important.
So important. And fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. I think so anyway. So I said it's very important. For somebody who may be like, well, why is that important? Why is that important?
Well, it's important because it matters. We have learned that, like Bailey said, our brains are pretty awesome things, but we as humans need to feel included. A great fact is that if we feel excluded, that fires in our brains the same way it does as we had physical pain. So you imagine if you're a person who has migraines or you've twisted an ankle at home before you came to work, you come in, you're going throughout your day just not being yourself because you're in that pain. So it's not enough to just show up somewhere, but you need to be seen, you need to feel like you belong, you need to feel like you have value there. So the wellness, and that is what actually brings that wellness. So that's why it's so important.
Gosh, that's a really, I don't know if I've ever thought about it that way. You know, when you feel excluded. So I think my mind immediately went to children.
Yes.
You know, like at school, you feel excluded. It's super painful.
Yes.
And so I guess it could be related to like a physical ache,
Yes.
a physical pain.
Yes, it fires in our brain in the same spot. Our brain doesn't know the difference in the exclusion or the pain.
That is very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people just learned something.
Yeah. Well, and then you can ask yourself kind of what Nia was talking about, how many of us don't show up as the best version of ourselves when we're in pain, whether that is physical pain or it is emotional pain. And we're not doing our most loving, caring work when we're in those spaces. So one thing we talk a lot about is how connection and human connection is not just good for us, it's necessary for our survival. It's how we're biologically built.
Yes, that is, I know for sure that is how we are made. We are made to be connected. And so when I think about when you're in those spaces, right, you wake up, you're not feeling the best, whatever's happening with you, whether it's physical or emotional, but then you still have to go out and function, right? You still have to go to your job. You still have to be a parent. You still have to be a partner or whatever it is that you have to be in this world. What are the things that we can do in order to mitigate some of that?
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. We often hear things like self-care and wellness as these big moments, and they are. It matters how much sleep you're getting. It matters whether you're moving your body and what you're eating, and we deserve time off, and all of those things are important. And wellness is actually also those bite-sized moments that we build into our day. It is stepping away and taking 3 deep breaths. It is getting outside. It is orienting to something that's beautiful around you. It is intentionally rooting into those connections. It's all those little tiny moments as well as those big time frames that we use to care for ourselves.
That is really good because, you know, self-care, I don't know. I feel like more lately it's become almost buzzwordy. You know, self-care. How do you and that you're right. It could be the big things, right? You think, oh, well, I'm going away on vacation or I'm, going to a meditation retreat, but you don't always get to do that in regular life, right?
Exactly. I've had people have to define it before. When you'd say something like self-care, like you said, it almost sounds like it's a buzzword or it's gimmicky, or they think it's huge.
Yeah.
So when you ask somebody, hey, do you practice self-care? Do you know what it is? They say,
I don't know. I thought I did.
I guess I took lunch today, right? But as Bailey was saying, it could be anything. Even just the whole attitude of gratitude. right? Being able to get up because we want to go to work.
Yes.
Right. Like you said earlier, we
Yes.
want to get up. That's where our people are. That's where our friends are. That's where we're going to feel fulfilled. We want to be there. So maybe putting in something like gratitude. Bailey was talking about being able to see the beauty as you drive to work and the flowers or the trees, sharing something with a colleague when you get to work or out in the community. Maybe it's something that your kids do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that phone call with a friend you haven't had in a while, but being able to remember the gratitude that is in those things just might get you a long way too.
Wow, I'm just soaking all this in. It's interesting. My daughter went for a walk yesterday. She goes for walks on her break. And she sent us in our group chat like all these nature pictures that she took. And she's just walking around downtown, the things that we see every day. But when I looked at those pictures, like, you know, the close-ups of the hydrangeas, the bee on the flower, like it was so beautiful. I'm like, we got to look for that stuff, right?
And it's exactly that. It is training our brains to find those moments. So what we know is life is messy and beautiful and chaotic. It's everything. And much like, when we get a car, right, all of a sudden we notice all the other, I have a Honda Civic. I notice every other Honda Civic on the road because my brain is trained to focus on that. We can do the same with those pieces of gratitude, with those things like beauty around us. We can practice training our brains to find those things, not negating the chaos and the reality, but holding both at the same time, which is really the practice.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It really is. I mean, the whole training of your brain, right? We train our brains to do all kinds of other things.
We do.
Correct? So if we're mindful about these things, then we can also train our brains, I like you said, to hold two things at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's
It doesn't negate what's going on in your life or what the thing is, but we can hold them both at the same time. Oh, ladies, I'm so excited that you guys are here to talk to us about Be Well initiatives and that you'll be popping up more often to give us some mindful moments to just remind us to take a moment and just bite-sized.
Bite-sized.
We're so grateful.
We're so grateful for the opportunity too.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.